And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Allison welcomes her guests. He's a producer at Colonel and Big Louie's publicist. It's Chef Jeff. And he's a writer-producer who is very sorry for losing his shit that one time, and he will carry your unwillingness to accept his apology to his grave, so fuck you. It's Greg Heller. Tone Zone is here to announce that he, too, was sending nudes to RFK Jr., but not for the reasons you might suspect. I'm her husband, Daniel, saying hop on board the Love Bus and say hello to your new best friend, Allison Rose.
Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her the good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little chips and guacamole made with 4 avocados. It's me, Allison. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. That particular carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon by Angela Harris. Yes, I'm on Patreon. All sorts of fun stuff there. You can get the Friend Zone, my bonus Patreon podcast. I do Ask Me Anythings and more. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. And if you're going to do a subscription, I recommend an annual subscription. You get 2 months free.
That's a good deal.
Also, I am on Substack. My Substack is blowing up. I have a bestseller
Substack
badge. Thank you. I am spilling the beans one by one, and I'm wedging that slogan into every possible crevice of content I make. So hope you like single beans. AllisonRosen.substack.
Bring back the beans.
AllisonRosen.substack.com. I would like to say hello to my guests. I'm so excited. Greg Heller, welcome back.
Hi. How's it going?
Wonderful to see you. Jeff Fox, welcome back.
Hello, it's good to be here, free from the shackles of computers.
I know. Daniel Quantz, hello.
Hello. Also free of the shackles.
I know. Mm-hmm. But you're still shackled, really.
I am. I have to be checking my phone every 5 seconds.
Yeah. I meant by marriage, but...
It's true, too.
That's true. That, too. And Tony Thaxton, hello.
Hi. Was looking through stuff this morning. I know you're always wanting drops. I was looking through things that... Because I have a tendency of making them and then never having a use for them. New all-purpose drop. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, let's hear it again.
What was that?
It's literally.
Wait, do you not even know who it is?
No, it's you. It's you making a noise.
That's for sure you.
I don't know what it was in response to. I made it a long time ago, forgot all about it, and now it's just you're gonna get sick of it.
Oh my God!
It sounds like you.
It sounds like Betsy Sidaro or something.
No, it sounds like you.
It sounds like one of those.
It's on brand.
It sounds like one of those like goats when they vocalize.
Oh my God! I was making turkey sounds the other day. Let's see if I can do like You know who hates that? Our children. They hate anything fun that I do. I feel like they're way too young. I feel like when you're a teenager, you can be annoyed by anything creative. He called me cringe. He said, "You're being cringe," and I said, "I am cringe." And he didn't realize like what a sick burn that is. So anyway, Greg Heller, do you know Betsy Sidaro?
I do, yes.
Do you know that we think she's kind of like a vocal sound-alike of you?
Oh,
I did not know that.
Shit.
No.
Really? That's so nice.
That's her. Doesn't that sound like you?
You know, it's hard to you're not really aware of your own voice. Shit, am I just making drops over here?
Well, you know, you just sound exactly like the drop. Do another one.
The California raisins are so cool.
Do I sound like that?
Kinda.
I don't think my voice is unusual, but I think most people don't think their own voice is unusual, right?
Right. This is well with you. The thing is, and this has come up before years ago. There's just this big difference between what your voice sounds like and then what you look like.
Yes. Yeah. People. I've told you this before, but people always say I thought you were a heavy-set New Yorker.
Yes.
That's things that most commonly said to me. But super short. Jew or Mexican. Thank you, Tony. For many years, I would go to the doctor. This still happens occasionally. And they would say, "Why are you talking like that?" Like they would say that, and I would go,
Are they worried?
"My arm hurts or whatever. That's why I'm here." But it's sort of like people have always said we can fix that.
Your voice?
Yeah.
Like what? Is it polyps or something? I didn't know this was a condition.
Maybe it's polyps, or maybe it's something to do with my nose or whatever. I don't know. I don't know that much about my own nose.
Wait, what kind of fixing though? Like what would your voice be like afterwards?
Dulcet?
Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, I really don't know, but I know that like probably there's some way that I could talk differently. I just have no interest in doing it really.
Right. Be you. You do you.
Yeah, this is my moneymaker. I wouldn't say it's making me any money, but it is in fact my moneymaker.
Right. That's how my face is.
When you walk into the doctor, they say we can fix that.
Yes. Depends what kind of doctor. Okay, so last week I shared the story. I introduced myself to another mom and she said, Allison or Alicent? And literally. And I was like taken aback and I said, Allison, and I thought, how much am I not enunciating? Now, a lot of people have let me know there's a character, but she said Alicent, like Gunt. But there's a character named Alicent Hightower from House of the Dragon. So if it turns out she didn't watch that, that would still make sense.
I'm sure
to
that's
me. Okay.
what she was thinking.
No, that's weird.
I thought it was weird.
Allison, it would be, you have a very common name.
Yeah.
I know. It's like Greg or Gregf.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
That was my reaction. So then get this, because there's a coda. Is it a coda? It might just be a part two. I don't know. We're at dinner the other night because Owen, our 5-year-old, has announced he only wants to, last night he also wanted to go out to dinner. This is a child who does not enjoy restaurants. He doesn't enjoy crowds, but all of a sudden he's got a bug up his butt that he wants.
Yeah, I wonder where that's coming from.
I don't know. I wonder if like a friend or a video or something. He's just fascinated with going out to dinner now, which is fine. But we were at dinner and I said, what do you want, Elliot? And the server said, I like that name, Eliath. And again, I'm wondering how much am I not enunciating? Do I have a marble mouth? I speak for a living. It is at the center bottom of the moneymaker.
This is the problem with all the creative names. Now we're at a state now where no one knows what a name is anymore. Anything can be a name.
I guess so.
And any seemingly normal name has to have some weird little apostrophe thing tagged on the end of it to make it unique.
Yeah.
I have to tell you this. Since last time I've been here, we had another baby.
Congratulations.
That's not that I have to tell you this part.
I know.
But that's the. But his name is Daniel.
Solid choice.
And
Daniel or Daniel?
his name is Daniel. His name is Daniel Hollis. But
Oh, that's a good name.
part of my wife and I didn't agree on any names. We didn't agree on any names, but she liked the name Daniel, and part of me was like, we're getting out of the arms race.
Yeah.
There was some tiny part of me that was like, we're bowing out of this competition.
I do wonder if there's going to be a return to traditional names.
So I can tell you at Ellis's school there is not, but maybe
How many Ellises are there?
there's at least 2.
Okay.
There's at least 2.
It seems like the old person names are what's coming back
Henry.
now.
There's a lot of Henry.
Yeah. And
I know a baby Agatha.
I feel like Daniel and David are traditional names that aren't overdone. I'll occasionally meet Daniels, but it's not like an era like Chris
Michael.
and Mike. Like, you know, certain generations, Jennifer and, you know, like Lisa or something. So that's a solid traditional type name. Gremlin, Napchip, Gremlin. But
Oh, I miss your baby names.
But what was the name that was it? Owen had heard that, or Elliot and he just hated it. It was like Braylon.
Oh, he said to me, "Do you know any Blakeleys?"
Blakely, and he's like, I hate that name.
Oh, he didn't. He had the fire of the anger had cooled by the time he talked to me because he didn't say he hated it. He just thought it was an unusual name.
Yeah, and I'm
He
like,
doesn't seem any more unusual than all the other names.
yeah. For me, it felt like, oh, I guess that is sort of a newish name, right? I don't know.
Ellis, there's a Velma in his class, which I kind of love.
Ooh, I kind of like Velma.
Yeah,
I
that's
like Velma.
very Kiss My Grits.
Isn't Velma from Scooby-Doo, right?
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo. But that kid is never going to watch Scooby-Doo or whatever.
Right.
I really like that name. But then there's a lot of them that I'm like, you guys should have just gone with a traditional name.
Well, so now when you say you were bowing out of the arms race, had you been considering some names that were in the arms race?
Yes. Although I would have to pull up the notes to tell you what they were, but they weren't, to me, like, they were not in the arms race This is it's a very difficult thing to talk about without being a shithead.
I know. Especially, remember that one time you besmirched Ainsley, and then we had a listener named Ainsley?
I know. I've learned my lesson.
If we had a daughter, we would have had to have named her Ainsley after the damage.
There's a famous drummer named Ainsley Dunbar.
Ainsley turns out to be a much more traditional. I think that there's like a type of name that I was reaching for, and I grabbed Ainsley instead. But it's that like
Blakely.
Yeah, it's that Nillily, and it's with the I's and the E's and the L's and the Y's.
Did you say Nillily?
Illy, like they're just adding EIs and LYs to things that shouldn't have it.
I did love the name Milo, but I wanted to spell it Mylo. But there's 3 Milos in Ellis.
Yes, my sister has a Milo.
Yeah. I don't know if that matters. I don't know if that, it's this weird thing where you think your name is somehow going to inform how much of an individual you are, but it's not.
No,
it's not.
But I feel like you can get painted into a corner, though. To me, that's the issue. Is are you going to give your kid a weird name, and then that's something like you can only be so many things if you're a Quigslimily.
Right, and all of a sudden you're a software consultant in Tucson or whatever. And
well, I feel like if you have a very common last name, then you should give your kid an unusual first name. But if you have an unusual last name, you can go with a traditional first name.
This is why I was barred from Quinn Quantz.
There's many reasons why you're barred.
I like the name Quinn. I like alliteration. I get what you're saying, but there was a kid, and this is a real name.
That's like if you want a kid who's always going to wear a propeller hat and ride a bicycle with like Christmas lights strung around him. That's the name.
But I wanted the first name to be Hollis.
Hollis
and Ellis.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I was like, it's too hard to say. It's like the Ruth's Chris of kids or whatever. And to me, I was like, I don't think you factor that in, but I always was like, no, you have to factor in saying their names together.
Yeah.
But I don't think, no.
Hollis and Ellis. Hollis. I don't know. I am at the point where the kids' names and dogs' names, I call everyone one of them, and they're not their own always. They just all blend together. Right. So I feel like Hellis and Ollis.
Hollis
and Ellis, they're pretty similar anyway, so there might have been a benefit.
Yeah, it might have been a benefit.
Yeah. Now, you probably don't have this yet because you're probably not calling to them that much, where you confuse their names?
No, but I'm having a very hard time telling people I have 2 kids. Not like for any, like... I don't know.
Philosophical, ethical reason?
I'm just like, I'm not used to saying I have 2 kids.
How old is Daniel now?
3.5 months.
And are you calling him Daniel? What do you call him?
Daniel. What do you mean? Oh, like as opposed to Dan or something? No, we've had that conversation. It's weird to call him Baby Dan.
Weird to call him Baby Dan.
I don't know. I didn't know if you
have to change Dan's diaper.
Yeah, Dan needs to change the oil in the car.
Dan shit in the stroller.
I just didn't know if you had a nickname for him.
No. We don't. I mean, I have some, but they're just like baby nicknames or whatever.
So Greg texted me and wanted to know, did Daniel always go by Daniel, or did he ever go by a nickname?
So, what did you tell him?
Well, it took me a little while to get back to him, and then he texted me again, like the next day. I don't remember how long. I'm sorry.
This was literally like when we were arguing about what to name the baby, and every Dan I knew, I was texting and saying, what were you called when you were a kid? What did they call you when you were a kid? Because I don't want to do that thing where I'm like, no, his name is Daniel. Did your parents do that with Anthony?
I'm not Anthony.
He's actually just a Tony.
Your name is just Tony.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They just said, we don't want to fuck around.
Strong move.
Oh, interesting.
I like that.
But you're Jeffrey.
Legally, yes.
And did your parents say his name is Jeffrey or his name is Jeff?
No, that was too much work. It was just Jeff.
Just Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, so from the jump, you were Jeff.
Pretty much, yeah. As far as I can recall.
Wait, does everyone assumes your name is Anthony, right?
Yeah.
It's unusual to just be named Tony, right?
For sure. I have met a few others because I've always thought I was the only one, but I have met a couple since. But
Did you like them?
No. Furious.
I hate that. I hate that when you find like bad ambassadors for your name.
Yeah, that's true.
And did your parents do it for a reason?
I think they just liked the name Tony, but didn't really like the name Anthony. I think it's that simple.
I think that's cool, actually.
Tony is always, it's a weird abbreviation of Anthony because it's like they're not close. I mean, they're very different. I don't know. It's like what's Peggy? Peggy and...
Margaret.
Oh,
that
yeah.
So
I think I only learned that like a couple of years ago. I never knew that was a nickname.
How do
you know what Dot is a nickname for?
Dorothy.
Okay, I guess that one's not that weird.
Stumped.
So anyway, well, where I was headed with that was I didn't realize this was in the context of your naming your baby, or like by the time I got back to you, your baby was already born.
That's correct. Yeah.
But
Thanks
I
for
was
the
just like,
Don't expect much from him.
I was like, what? Why is Greg so like
Get interested in.
curious about Daniel's name?
Yeah. So
Anyway,
what did you
sorry.
tell him though? Did you give him?
Yeah, I know. I said that you were never. Well, I thought you were never Danny, but I knew that you were Dano.
I'm not a never Danny. I was Danny until I turned like 13-ish, and then I demanded they call me Dan because I felt like that was more grown up. I didn't want to be Danny anymore.
That's a problem with a lot of them, is that if you're a Daniel legally, but they call you Dan, then you wind up being Danny as a kid, and then you have to reach this point where you have to readjust everybody and reset them. Say,
Yeah.
no, I'm Dan, or I'm Daniel. Don't call me Dan
Right, and
anymore.
then the legs just got kicked out from the table when then everyone started calling me different things. And I was like Dano to some people.
Now, where did Dano come from? Is
I
that
think
Hawaii
when there were
5-0?
like little kids entered into the my dad adopted some kids, and so I was Dano to them. It was just like it's like more of an uncle, maybe it felt like or like an older brother kind of.
When you say adopted some kids, it conjures a real like Mia Farrow kind of situation.
Well,
like he did like 3 at once or something. It
felt like
was
all at
one by
once.
one.
It felt all at once.
It felt fast.
It's like yeah. Well, it was just like it just felt like my whole life, no one, and then all of a sudden.
Everyone.
At the end of my time in Tucson, it was like, a bunch of like babies. Yeah. So then I became Dano, and then I was just like, to some people I'm Dan, to some people I'm Dano, to some people I'm still Danny, and it's like I'll just say my name is Daniel, and you can figure it out. Like but it's not an uptight like call me Daniel kind of situation. It's more just like whatever you want to. You know.
Tony, did you ever get Tone Zone?
I call him
That's
Tone
all
Zone.
she calls me.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't listened to the show enough. And did you get it as a kid?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it
Tony
gets shortened to
Baloney?
just Tone a lot, but
Right.
Tone Zone I don't think
Tone
really
Zone.
happened until I came here.
I also oh really?
That's
I don't
love
think
it.
so. I can't recall.
I also call him
everything.
T-Sticks, and my new favorite, which he handed me, Tony.
Are you talking about my sister?
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, she was doing it to make herself laugh, but she started calling me Sticks Macaroni.
So of course I have
Did
to
you
call
know
him
that-
Stick Smack.
Did you know that was a nickname for Tony?
Stick
Yeah, I
Smack.
did.
Macaroni.
So tell us, how was the birth of this second
yeah.
guy for you?
Pretty easy for me. I went to a Dodger game.
Was it more painful than the first one, or
No, it fell right out. I went to a Dodger game with our friends Dave and Alexis. I was at a Dodger game with them,
Nice.
and
They're not our friends.
They're not. No,
I'm
they're not
friends
your
with them.
But I'm just.
I know, but
referencing
I'm just
Tony's
saying
friends
to
with
the
everybody.
listener, when you say "are," sounds like they are
They're
their
not friends
too.
of the show.
Okay.
And I
what's
had
their
a bunch
problem?
of beers, as you do at a baseball game, because it was a month before the baby was going to be born. And then I went drunken barfing, more or less. That's it. It's a Tube Steak song. And then I came home and my wife was like, I feel weird. And then we had a baby the next day.
Was she when she said I feel weird? Did she
She
realize
was just
it was
like,
labor?
I'm not in. I don't think I'm in labor, but something is happening. And then I looked at my phone and I started timing it, and I was like, no, you're in labor.
On an app.
On it, no, just your timer.
Oh.
You just time contractions, and then we went to the hospital, and then she was in labor for 15 hours or something like that, and then we had a baby.
Was everything okay? It was like a month early. So.
He was pretty small, but he was gonna be big, so he was insulated a little bit from being he wasn't a preemie. He was called a preterm. Yeah, he was fine. He was fine. He had some trouble figuring out how to suck or whatever at the beginning, but he's totally fine. Totally fine. It was fairly uneventful as far as births go,
Good.
except for the crying and stuff, which I think is pretty normal.
Yeah, crying is normal.
No,
For
no.
who's?
For
Yours?
me, for
Oh.
Dad. Dad cries a lot when babies are born. And it was fun. It was really fun. I didn't think I was going to have another baby, I'm pretty old. I'm advanced age. So I kind of thought Ellis was it. And so existentially, it was pretty heavy, actually. But from the logistical perspective, it was pretty smooth.
Wait, so was he? Sorry, this is too personal. If it's too personal, was he a surprise?
No. No.
You just didn't think it was necessarily going to happen.
I didn't think it was going to happen. And also, like, when we started discussing having a second, I didn't think we were going to discuss having a second baby.
You thought she was done.
I thought she was done. I thought I was done. I thought we were done. Yeah. Because we were she's a lot younger than I am, but I'm fairly up there. So there was a lot of, like, kind of making sense of that. But it's been awesome, and I'm really into it. I think there's some challenges ahead. Like, I look forward and go, shit, when he's 20, I'm going to be 70 or whatever.
Daniel does this all the time.
And it's more just like, how am I going to keep up? Because I'm really determined to be, like, there for everything. So there's a lot of anxiety around that. But, like, it's a awesome baby. I look at him all the time, and I'm like, I love this thing, and I'm really, really, like, filled with joy.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Yeah, he's cute.
Now, something we think about a lot is we got to convince them to have kids young so that we can be alive to be grandparents. Selfishly, I think it was good for us and our
them
kids.
About birth control or anything.
I think it was good for us to be parents older, but they're going to have to
Step
flip
up
the
to
script.
fucking.
Split the difference.
Exactly.
That's smart. That's good.
Now, they said last
They have
night
announced both of
they
them.
both don't want to have kids.
No family.
But I feel like they might change their mind.
They have some time to change
It's
their mind.
some time to think that out.
Exactly.
But you might be thinking twice if one of them has a baby when they're 20 or whatever.
I don't know.
You know,
We'll raise
really?
them. I'll raise them. I want grandkids.
I'm sorry. I'm dumbfounded staring at you over you offer. I mean, I'm up for that because every now and then I
bet
feel
by
like
the time I'm just saying by the time they're 20, I may be okay with it.
because you are so over
it.
taking care of children right now.
So fucking over it. But that's because I'm in the middle of it. You know.
So you think by the time
they're 20, I'll be like, all
by the time you're
nostalgic
70,
for
you'll
the
be
time
into
that
it.
They're babies.
I
and
think
shit,
that's
you know?
probably true.
That was fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah, you forget your brain just erases the bad shit. It
Yeah.
just does. So, I know. I think about how old I'm going to be, and it puts me in this state of mind of like reading all about. I'm practically one step from getting a blood boy or something. You know, like I want to extend my life.
I don't know that everyone knows that
What the fuck
reference.
is a blood boy? That's
That's what those tech.
What is
That's what those tech billionaires supposedly do. Is they get like a young, healthy person, and then they have the blood. They just get their blood and they just put it in their own veins, like vampires.
Really? That's not real.
There's a whole like biohacking thing. I don't know if it's real. It's like one of those things you've heard about, and then they spoofed it on Silicon Valley.
Yeah,
show.
that's how I feel.
I don't know if it's actually true, but there are, there's just there is a lot of weird shit that they do. And I'm willing to try it all that I can afford.
Quercetin. Daniel's
anything. I'm
taking
reading-
some kind of anti-aging supplements he
so they've
purchased
done
on
like
Amazon.
this research on rats, and so that's good enough for me. And where they've been able to reverse the age, because the thing that causes aging is the buildup of some chemical in the cell that you can normally purge, but you get less
is it
efficient.
farts?
Yes, you get less efficient at
Sulfury.
purging it.
Sulfuric.
And they found there's a couple things that you can take that help your cells to get it, and they've been able to reverse the age. Like their hearts get stronger and their bodies get stronger in rats. So I'm like, I don't need it to be approved by the FDA. I'm just going to start taking it if I can. And so,
try it
it's
out.
probably
I think you'll like it.
probably hooey, but I ain't got a lot of time.
You can eliminate the middleman and save a lot of money and just eat rats.
I ain't got,
Yes.
I ain't got time
Yes.
for them to figure it out. 'Cause
Artificially
I'm
young
old.
rats.
Yeah.
The Dorian Gray of Dorian Gray
That I'm going
rats.
to do like anything like that to try and stay young.
Okay, but for someone listening who doesn't know what you look like, you're like very fit and tan, and you're a surfer. So I feel like people are picturing some
I am
kind
not a
of
surfer. I want to clarify. Let's clarify that. We've talked about this before. I am a person who surfs.
Sorry.
It is an
Went
important.
to this Mackie joint, just full Ritos, and there were bets just
you are-
everywhere, and it was just got the digis and just game.
But you are a fisher.
I'm an angler.
Angler, sorry.
Yes, that's different. Anyway, you were complimenting
Well,
me. so
yes,
I
yes.
cut you
Well, what I was saying was someone listening might picture a short, fat Jewish Mexican person, or whatever we decided
York-
they think you
a
are.
New-
Most people think I'm a
Jewish New
fat
York
old guy
Mexican.
from New York.
That's right. But really, when you're saying you're not going to do anything to stay young, it's like I think your lifestyle keeps you young, except for all the substances.
Thanks, Allison. The only thing I have figured out not to get too serious for a second, that keeps you young is curiosity. That's the hack.
We try not to be that earnest.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be that earnest, but I think you start getting old when you.
But also exercise.
Yeah, when you start to believe that the past was better. I think that's what makes
I
you
think
old.
that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck in that way of thinking.
That makes you old. I believe that, and I think like trying to discover something new every day or every week is the kind of
looking
secret.
forward to the future, having something to live for.
You
I
know,
think
just
is
being like,
important.
hey, I've never eaten that. I'm going to go eat that.
I'm totally
I've
with
never
you on
listened to
that.
that. I'm going to go listen to that. Like, and honestly, I've never read that. I'm going to go. That keeps you young, I think.
I think that's actually, I've been thinking about that too, which is I believed, and I didn't know I believed this, that like you kind of just learn everything you're going to learn by a certain age, and then that's just who you are, and you just go forth with those skills. And it's like,
Right. You graduate and you're set and you know everything, and then you just
Now
live
you're
life.
ready.
But you don't lose the ability to learn new skills. Like if you're 40, you want to learn the piano, learn the piano. Like
Daniel's learning how to cut hair, and I love
I'm
it.
learning how to cut hair. Want to cut my boy's hair so we can save some money. And I am.
And then I'm going to make him cut my hair, and then we'll get divorced.
I am learning 2 languages, and now it's Duolingo, so it's it's gamified. But I do feel like I'm learning it enough to. When we went to Japan, I was able to speak Japanese.
Is that what Duolingo means? You learn 2 languages at the same time?
Yes, I don't know. I don't know. It's like I don't.
He's
no.
actually he's quadruple linguing.
No, well now I'm learning Italian because I was like, well, I think I'd rather know Italian. I don't know why I'm still learning Japanese.
I have been
More
a
because it's a
Duolingo
challenge.
widow at times because
Well,
he's so competitive.
Japanese was a challenge. It's like, what is like one of the hardest languages I can think to learn? And then we decided we were going to go to Japan, so it was a double reason.
Wait a minute. You were learning Japanese before we decided to go to Japan?
I was thinking about it.
I didn't know that.
They say the hardest
I
language
feel like
to
I
learn-
remember you
Yeah.
talking about it before you guys
Yeah.
said you were
Locked it in.
going.
Yeah.
But anyway, but what it did for me, I mean, I've talked about this before, but it's like that was a thing that I always thought I couldn't do because I had a bad teacher in Spanish when I was a kid, and I was
Senora
like,
Brennan.
"Fuck you, Senora Brenna! I will never learn Spanish." And that got codified in my brain as I can't learn languages, and I suck at learning languages. And now the fact that I can, and I've tried, opens me up to this idea that, well, actually, what else am I limiting myself in?
Right.
Like, what else have I decided I can't do that I actually can do? And that goes back to what Greg's saying, which is like you stay curious, stay trying to learn, and suddenly life becomes much bigger than you thought it was.
Also, schooling, it sort of beats the curiosity and learning out of you because learning and reading is so unenjoyable because you're just kind of
Required.
brutalized with it. The schedule about how many books you're supposed to read in college is impossible. So it was like,
Yeah.
I never enjoyed reading in college because I just had to burn through a ton of books and didn't enjoy them. But it's kind of like exercise too. Like phys ed class in high school will make you hate exercise because it's just so brutal.
But
and
you
dumb.
can
But you do it yourself, and it's like, oh, this is actually fun.
Right. At 50, you can get jacked if you want, or you can learn
just
to play
enjoy
tennis,
anything, yeah.
or you're not going to be a pro. You're not going to but you can go learn to play golf, or you can go learn, you can get on a softball team. Like whatever thing you think you can't do, you can do it.
Yeah.
You're not going to be great at it necessarily, but anyway.
You know, I think one of the questions I get asked the most is where do you find new music? Which is a very strange question because it's so easy to find new music.
Yeah.
And the answer to the question is like the only thing you need to do to find new music is want to find new music. That's it. That's the only thing you need.
But are they saying where can one find new music, or are they saying where do you personally find it?
I don't know. They're saying one of those two things, but the answer is, do you want to find it?
Right.
Because if you did, you wouldn't be asking me this question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly easy to find new music and new books. And the thing you need is you need to be curious.
Right. And the problem, if anything, is there are too many new bands that I've heard of, or there are too many interesting books. How do I decide which ones I should listen to?
Right.
There's a ton of it out there.
Yeah, because when you were younger, you had a different way of discovering things, and now you just have to find a new way. Like I had friends whose tastes were like really good, and I would just kind of listen to what they liked, and then that was. But now they're all married, and they're still listening to the same shit they listened to 30 years ago. So now I got to figure out a new way.
Right.
You
Do you guys ever talk about how that lamp looks like anal beads?
We did.
What?
No.
You guys have never discussed that?
I've had this lamp forever. It's my prize IKEA lamp. You hate it, right, Daniel?
Yeah.
Is it because
This is
it
a
looks
sight
like
gag. I know it's bad for pot, but
it's a visual?
Is it-
Is it
very
because
cheap
it looks
lamp.
like
Is it because you keep putting it in Daniel's butt?
I hate yes. I don't like the lampshade very
he
much.
loves it when I take it out though?
I don't love the lampshade. It reminds me of my youth.
Why? Because it's a little bit like wacky,
It's got
crazy
that like
hippie.
embroidered 70s look.
Okay.
And then it's just cheaply made. It's like barely stable.
It does look like anal
It's
beads. Have you
wobbly.
tried anal beads?
no.
Yeah, nor have I.
Neither insertive nor receptive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't given it a shot.
Well, you have anal beaded a headset once.
Yes, I have done that, but in
You
terms
have
of
keistered things. You just not officially.
What was the headset story? Because Daniel refers to it
It's one of my
frequently.
favorite Greg stories.
But I forget. I know the broad strokes.
There's just a guy I used to work with that I didn't like very much. And I sabotaged some of the things in his office.
With your butt.
One of them went into my butt crack, yeah. And
And
it
what-
was returned to his office.
What happened to the other things?
I took one of his awards and I photographed it in our litter box. And then I sent the photos to everyone at work.
Was there something with like a ceiling panel or something? Didn't you hide something in a
Like a
in the
rotting
ceiling?
sardine? or
Yeah, but that was at
something?
college.
Oh,
That was in college, yeah. I hid a bunch of sushi in the ceiling panels of someone's room in college.
so rotted.
Yeah, that was in college. I did this a lot when I was younger.
Sure.
And still now.
I made a big announcement about fish on recently, and I feel the need to announce it again because when you guys were talking about how the thing that keeps you young is curiosity, similarly, something that I think makes you older, but which I embrace, is realizing that thing that I have been open to, I'm not that into it anymore. This is me. And I have realized I don't think, get ready, Greg. I don't think I like fish that much. I've gone through my whole life eating fish, and I just had it when I ordered salmon recently. It was California Fish
Oh,
Grill.
can I finish that then?
I threw it out last night. It had been in there for over a week, honey.
It was fine. Damn it. I had
You know
the
what
same
was
rep-
fine? I had a tub of my favorite potato salad, deviled egg potato salad, that had been in there for probably 6 weeks. And I opened it gingerly and I took a whiff. And I'm like, this smells absolutely fine, but I threw it out.
Great. I had a similar. Tell us more about what you've thrown away in the fridge. Yeah, no, I don't
Anyway.
mean to interrupt that compelling story.
Anyway, I just feel like given the choice to eat something other than fish, that's what I'd rather have.
I had that same feeling about goat cheese. I was like, at a certain point, I'm like, why
not
am
the
I
same.
still trying to pretend I like goat cheese? I hate this shit. I fucking hate it. I like feta, but otherwise, what am I doing?
Chev. Chev.
And then once there's something liberating about just going, you know what? Actually, I've decided I don't like goat cheese. Now I don't have to worry about that shit anymore.
I feel like that's a little different than what I'm saying.
Nope, same thing.
This is my
No.
new philosophy, though.
Yeah.
There's that. You want to feel free? Spend a year saying yes to anything. Say yes. Be open. My new theory is: you want to feel free? Say no to everything. Just, I'm not trying that anymore. No, I'm not into that. No, thank you. I'm not coming to your baby shower. No, I'm not doing that.
Yes. Although I think that puts us in the aged category.
Yeah.
That is not a youthful attitude.
Isn't it?
Youth is having to be involved in everything, I think.
I think that
I'm
has
fine
changed.
with it then. I'm fine
Oh,
with it.
really?
I think that has changed, yeah.
How so?
I think post-pandemic people are a little bit more, I'm going to use the word cloistered. Is that the correct word?
I think so.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I think that has changed a little bit.
Okay.
But I
Even
agree-
the youth.
even with the youths.
Maybe,
yeah, I think so.
maybe,
And maybe
above
it's
a certain age.
It's been overdone with the FOMO. So maybe it's like reverse FOMO. Like people are doing too much because of the fear of missing out.
Yeah.
So now they're pulling
Now
back.
you hear about JOMO, which is joy of missing out.
Yeah.
There might be
Is that a thing?
there might be a
Mm-hmm.
generational blip of that, but under a certain age, we're still forcing Elliot to do shit he doesn't want to do. He's not.
kids, yeah,
he's
you
not
gotta-
gonna have that.
Well,
I'm just saying as an old fart.
But I do think, I argue about this sometimes with my spouse. I do think for the most part, when you say we're not going to that, people don't give a shit.
Oh, I think you're right.
And I think there's a misconception. I think you can just say, hey, we're not going to go to your kid's party. I
yeah.
think they go, we're still going to have the party. Who cares? If you think about it in reverse, imagine a scenario where you were hosting and someone said, I can't make it, that you would be angry.
Right.
Maybe your wedding, if somebody wasn't going to be there, whatever. But for the most part, who cares? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Although, if someone RSVPs yes, and then no shows. I don't love that.
Yeah.
Just send a text saying like, I'm so sorry, we're not
Yeah,
going to make
hold
it
on.
after all.
I want to just dig into this for a second. But do you believe
You lifted
Allison?
up like you were going to fart.
Well, I'm not. Gonna
Doesn't it look
fart.
like he's going to fart?
Well, no, he's getting he's about to launch into something. Don't interrupt his
Just
flow.
Give me a second, please. Allison.
Jesus.
Do you ever fucking think that your not turning up at a festivity is going to negatively impact the amount of money those people have spent at the fucking party? Because
I
people will sometimes
know.
say, they have to go buy the stuff. And I'm like, if they're just buying the stuff for this correct amount of people, they're stupid. I never believe that. At a wedding, when you have to order each, it's true.
That's different, yeah.
It's rare that there's an event like that.
But if you are having people over and someone doesn't show, you're not like, well, fucking Brad, we got an extra quesadilla. Like that's just not a thing.
Right. But when I say if you RSVP yes and then don't show, it's not because of the financial ramifications of it. Because you're right. I don't think it's.
But people say that this is a thing.
But
Right.
no, because for me, it's more just like, oh, I was expecting to see you and then I didn't. And I ended up feeling like a little bit like, hey, where were you? Whereas if you had given me a heads up, that would have been fine or something.
Yeah.
Like
it's more just
your
an emotional
It was
thing.
about your expectation?
Yes, my expectation. Like I was looking for you.
And do you feel differently if that person has children?
This actually was, so we had a birthday party for Elliot and like 88 people that's a dog whistle. No, 88 people really RSVP'd and we were like, oh no, this is such a huge party. And I said, don't worry, people are going to drop out. They always do. And they did. No, like
a
I feel
couple
like
did.
No,
It
I
was
think
still
like
very big.
44 people showed up.
Are you sure?
Exactly half of the people dropped out.
No.
I had a clicker as they walked in. I feel like a lot of people didn't come.
A lot of people did come.
This is true, but this is not interesting, but
With the show?
I think a lot of people didn't come.
A lot of people. Well, it felt like more, but okay, maybe
And
not give
then
it just-
here's what's weird. We were worried about, are we going to have enough food? Are we going to have enough cake? Is the cake the right size? Because
pizza.
yes, we ended up getting an enormous amount of pizza. All of it was eaten and a decent amount of cake. But I was like, oh God, I hope we don't run out of cake. And like only half of the cake was eaten.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't recall the last birthday party where they had cake where I was like, man, that cake was great.
Ours.
Or I didn't get a slice. Oh, I really wanted a
Yeah.
slice.
Right.
Usually with a birthday cake, people give it out, and then the person cutting it is kind of going around pushing it. They're
Uh-huh.
like, yeah, you want some? You want some? You want some?
Yeah, it always feels obligatory.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I guess I want this, and then it's like,
We had a solid cake.
we did.
Yeah, it was the Whole Foods berry chantilly cake. Someone a parent even said to me, where did you get this cake?
Did you have a bounce house?
No, we had a magician.
We had a magician.
Did you grow up saying bounce house?
Yes.
What did you call it?
Bouncy castle.
What did you call it, Tony?
I don't remember them like as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, there weren't a
Yeah.
lot. I was of the pony rides era.
Pony rides.
Did you not have pony rides?
I don't remember pony.
Really? You
I
go to
remember
someone's
go-karts.
No. I mean, I remember
yeah,
go-karts too.
go-kart.
But you go to someone, this is when I was very young. You go to someone's house and there'd be a man and a sad pony on a rope and the pony would go in a circle.
At
and
a
each
party?
Kid,
At a
yes.
kid's party?
Yes.
Well, you grew up in a Tony sort of fancy-ass neighborhood.
Anthony neighborhood. But Greg also grew up in roughly the same neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know pony memories or whatever.
All right.
No, maybe once or something. I don't remember any of that stuff. But go-karts. We were
At
always
houses
going
or
to-
you were going to go
No, you would go to a go-kart
Yes.
track. And I remember this because the first time I went, I was too short. And a dad had to ride the go-kart with me. I was not this tall to ride this go-kart.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
But some people call bounce houses jolly jumpers.
Nope.
No.
What?
That,
Never heard
Yeah,
that.
fuck.
to me,
Get
a
out of
jolly
here.
jumper is something that we had when my sister was a baby. It's like a contraption you hang in a doorway
Oh,
and the
yeah, yeah.
kid like
Mm-hmm.
it's like a little vest they wear and they can jump up and down. That's a jolly jumper. Do you know what a package store is?
Jeff should know this,
Wait,
I
no,
think.
I'm going to say something bad. Are these in New York?
No,
No.
they're in
Connecticut,
Boston?
Boston area.
No,
Massachusetts,
I was
New
thinking of
England.
something. There used to be like a pejorative term for a corner store in New York. It's not that.
I think it
There
it's a,
was the proprietor was Pakistani.
Oh my God, is that
No, it's not.
okay?
No, I don't know what a
It is
package
a liquor
store is.
store.
It is a liquor store.
It's a liquor store.
That's what they call liquor stores
in
Massachusetts, Connecticut. Maybe outside of that, I don't know.
But wait, package store was Pakistani?
No, that was like the term for like corner stores in New York.
Right. But I'm just saying, if it's a racial slur in New York, then why is it not also in
Because it
Massachusetts?
wasn't package store.
Oh, something like
Yeah,
that.
it was something like that.
I see. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
I have to make sure I'm still employable,
Yes.
just in case.
Speaking of, should we do Just Me or Everyone?
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
Greg?
As I was saying, okay, this is the worst one ever. I don't know if I should do this. We could just cut it if it's too bad, right?
Sure.
Just me or everyone?
Cut.
When you first saw the headline that pagers were exploding all over Lebanon, did you think, oh, guys, like our beepers are blowing up, like in the hip hop sense? Did anybody else think that besides me?
Like you were popular.
Because the first thing I thought was like, oh shit, guys, pagers are blowing up. And then I thought it meant like because something is going to happen. Like every guy in Lebanon, their pager. And for a second, I was like, I can't believe all these guys are still using pagers for that. So anyway, I saw the headline, pagers exploding in Lebanon. And I was like, oh, guys, pagers are blowing up in Lebanon.
That's hilarious.
Did anybody else think that?
I didn't.
No.
Did
say that I
anybody
did.
else think that?
Just
Did
you.
anybody think that?
I didn't.
I didn't. I'm trying to.
Should I not have said that?
No, I think
that's
that's fine. It has to do with slang, parlance, etc. I'm trying to think how I even heard that news.
We
I
don't have
feel
to
like
talk about that anymore. Like we can go into it if you want to or whatever. But if you didn't like see the headline pagers exploding and think the same thing, then
that's what I'm saying. Is I'm realizing I don't think I ever saw the headline. I think it was
I saw
conveyed
it.
to me like I don't know how I encountered
maybe
the
I
info.
told you?
I think so. Maybe.
I think I just saw it on Twitter, and it wasn't really a headline.
because the New York Times sent out a thing
A
that
blast.
said pagers exploding.
So your thing was blowing up with news of.
I
things
honestly,
blowing
that's
up.
what I thought. Yeah, I honestly, that's what. In fact, I didn't even click on it until like maybe an hour
Yeah.
later, and then I was like, oh, that's what that headline.
I think that makes sense to you. Like you can't be the only one. You just happen to be the only one at this.
I was just
table.
surprised that they even exist anymore, pagers.
I thought the same thing, and then I thought like, well, there are some pagers, like doctors use pagers, but I thought, who still makes them?
Right.
Like, can you? But apparently,
the Mossad.
in the thousands, they're being made. People use them.
Yeah.
I had
Do
no
a
idea.
lot of doctors use them? Because every doctor I know, it's just cell phones these days.
Yeah,
In
you'd
hospitals,
Maybe they
I
have.
think they do.
Oh, okay.
You'd think there'd be text alerts though instead of being paged, but I guess maybe there's a use.
Well, I've gotten in arguments with a lot of people online who've let me know that tons of people still use.
There's always
pagers.
like uses for that old technology that you forget. Like if you go into like Enterprise Rent-A-Car, they'll have those like the printer that has the
Dot matrix,
dot matrix with the sides.
the
that
Dorothy
peel off.
matrix.
Like why is that necessary? But it's like because it goes through the different. They need the different
the
copies,
carbon copy. Yeah,
carbon
Yeah, yeah.
copies. So
Yeah, interesting. Like in rental car companies, what are they doing with those things?
Yep.
That was
like
my
Norm Macdonald.
What?
You sound like Norm Macdonald.
That was my JMO.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Jeff?
Should we keep that in the show?
Mine's
not controversial.
mine's almost as controversial. So just me or everyone, when you're walking in a crosswalk and a car stops for you, do you put a little hustle action, like
Oh,
you put on a
yeah.
little pantomime hustle to show them, like I'm not flaunting my right of way here. I see that you need to get somewhere, and I'm putting some spring in my step.
Yes, I do try to look like I'm.
Oh yeah.
But I don't just pantomime, but I do it.
Right.
I hustle. Same as when someone holds a door open for you.
Right,
And
but
I'm
you
like,
could
"Hang on."
hustle and kind of do it low key.
That's
but like
true.
I hustle and kind of put on a little show.
I'll sometimes just like acknowledge
Yeah.
too. I'll just be like, "Hey, thanks," and go. Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts about this, too, actually. Can I ask you a question, Jeff?
Yes.
How do you feel when you, on either side of this equation, when you're in a crosswalk and let's say you're driving
Mm-hmm.
and the person in the crosswalk preemptively responds to you as though you're not going to stop?
I never get that because I get almost run over a lot.
Sorry.
I'm not joking. So I'm very cautious about being on the recipient side of that. But I
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what
People
you're talking
look at you in crosswalks with the assumption that you had intended to murder them.
Yes.
And you had 100% intended to stop, and I don't like being looked at like that.
in their defense, I almost get run over a lot.
So
you,
do
like-
you give a death stare to a lot
Yes,
of people?
I
Okay.
look at if somebody's still moving as they're approaching a crosswalk while I'm in it, I look them dead in the eye until they stop. And usually when people connect with me looking at them, they actually stop. Otherwise,
Because you
they
become a person who
yeah,
cannot be
because
killed.
because oh, this person's actually watching me, and they might get mad if I run them over.
But you don't. So you don't assume that people are going to stop.
No, never.
Do you assume people are going to stop?
I think I do. With my kids, no, I'm much more careful. But if it's just me, I don't know if you know that I lived in New York.
No, please tell us about it.
I used to live in New York, yeah, where you jaywalk quite a bit. So, yes, I do just kind of assume they will, I think.
You know who's really bad about this? Bicyclists.
Oh,
And I'm a bike rider, not a bicyclist in the way that you're a surfboard riding person and
person
not
who
a
surfs, yes.
I'm a self-loathing bicyclist because
Oh, they're so
they have
angry.
such a chip on their shoulders. Like they're so ready to give you the what the fuck, man.
Oh,
like,
the
like-
worst.
like you haven't even come close to doing anything, and they give you the what the fuck, and then they run through a red.
I
light.
feel that way. I don't really feel that way about cyclists, but I do feel that way about motorcyclists. Motorcyclists, they act like you should have seen them
Right.
when they're cruising through between the lanes. And I get it. They have the right to do that, but do not assume that I can see you coming through there. They get mad when people are like too close and shit. And it's like, look, guys, like you are not as visible as you think you are. Enough with the attitude. There's like kind of an asshole attitude that a lot of motorcyclists have.
Yeah.
You think?
Hey, Jeff, what's this
I'm
thing
known
that
for.
cyclists do when they get to a stop sign or a red light and they won't put their feet on the ground?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Like
Yes,
the
what
fucking
is that?
floor is lava. What is that shit? And they just go, why do they do that? Why don't they put their feet down?
I don't know. I think it's a weird thing, but I think some of the guys have those shoes that clip in
Oh.
to the pedals, so I think they're. I don't know. I think it's like a weird kind of juggling thing. That
Yeah, I
they do.
like
That shoes
like
that
it.
clip in, how easy is it for them to pop out? Because that seems so dangerous
Yeah, I
to
don't
me.
like. I've never done it,
You
but
just twist your foot a little.
yeah, you
Okay.
kind of go to the
Seems
side
like
or something.
gluing yourself to a pogo stick
It's
or
not.
something.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Wait, you've used them?
Yeah, I've used.
You
them.
use bicycle clip shoes?
Yeah. Well, sure.
Oh, on the stationary bike.
On the stationary bike.
Are they the same as the ones that are on a bike
Yeah,
though?
yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Wait, can I do a survey at the table?
Yeah.
You're at a stoplight and you're on your phone. The light changes and you realize you've lagged for a second. Are you person A who slams on the gas and goes as fast as they can to compensate for the mistake you've just made? Or do you go, oh shit, put your phone down and drive away as normal? Do you feel the need to compensate by speeding off the line for the time you have cost the person behind you?
No, I think I'm B.
Jeff?
I don't use my phone while I drive.
All right.
I hate to be that guy, but I'm that guy.
Tony?
I kind of take off fast anyway.
Okay.
So that's kind of always the answer. And I'm somewhat with Jeff. I usually will keep my phone on the little thing, and if I need to use it, I'll Siri or something. And I'm drivers
too.
drive me crazy, so I'm like hyper aware.
Yeah, you
of
don't want to be
things
part
like
of the
that.
problem.
Yeah. So I will take off.
I'm kind of the
immediately.
same as Tony. I always take off pretty fast from the line.
I'm pretty good about not using my phone. I could have just said when you're distracted.
Yeah.
But I do notice sometimes if I'm busted at the light, I will slam on the gas because I feel guilty that I've cost that
You're
person.
gonna make up for lost time.
I will make up
do
for
you,
lost
Do you
time.
give the little like sorry wave?
If necessary, yeah.
I do that.
I got
My
one of
hand
those
is up
today.
there all the time.
Yeah.
And I always think this absolves me of everything. Or if I'm, changing lanes, like throw my hand up, but then if someone does something that I don't appreciate and they throw their hand up, I'm not like, oh, all is forgiven. I still feel like they're a jerk with their entitled
I appreciate
hand.
I
it.
feel
I
like it
appreciate
helps.
it. I appreciate it
Yeah.
every time. Every time, yeah.
Because it's like holding a door, as we've talked about
Yeah.
before. It's like it's just showing that I've noticed and I care.
And I've noticed the gesture you made by letting me come in here and try very. But the bullshit thing is if you let one car in and the guy behind tries to get in.
Yes.
The rule is 1 and 1.
It's
Yes.
called a zipper.
That is the rule for no, Allison. There is no exception. When you're merging, the rule is 1 and 1. If it's all, the rule is 1 and 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Different scenario. Or scenario, as you said earlier. Is that your go-to scenario?
Did I say scenario?
You said scenario.
I think I say scenario.
Okay.
Is that one worse?
No, I don't know.
I think it's pronounced situation.
Okay. Different mise en scène. Okay, you're at a concert and you want to get to the front. And you're in, it's like very crowded. It's been a long time since I've been in this situation.
And your
get-
jeans are soaked with pee because it's Bruce Springsteen.
Exactly.
Are you going to do a fake drink delivery?
No.
Okay.
But someone else starts walking forward. So they're splitting the crowd. And then you just tuck in behind them and just follow them.
Oh, yeah. You're like drafting in
Oh,
there.
yeah, you draft. That's fine.
I feel like that's smart.
It also like
So why is it not that with cars?
a lot of that depends on how tall you are.
Yeah.
I have never felt guilty about shoving my way to the front of a show because I'm 5'4" or whatever. I don't 5'5", 5'6", somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But I think,
What are you?
but if that person is 5'10", then I sometimes will maybe throw an elbow.
Yeah.
But I do fake drink deliveries occasionally.
Wait, so what is that?
I got a beer. I got to bring my friends up front. I got a beer. I got a beer. Girlfriends up front. It's an old tactic. Very old.
I never even knew that one.
Old school tactic.
Never, ever
It's like a
knew.
variation on the hot soup lady with a baby.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
for concerts. I like that.
Yeah. It works.
What's the hot soup lady with a baby?
It's like a thing you used to say when you were trying to get through a crowd. You go, hot soup, hot soup, hot soup.
Oh.
Lady with a baby, lady with a baby.
I have wondered, like in line before, if there's a kid with me, can you pull the kid card if you're in line for the, like, he really needs to go. It's kind of an emergency.
Oh, the
Really
bathroom?
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah.
You can.
I haven't,
Yeah.
but
if they have, especially if they have to poop.
right.
Yeah.
Our guys only poop at home.
Oh God, Ellis poops everywhere. He just
Oh, that's so good.
Ellis is
That's
really
so
into this
good.
one taco place because he's really into lengua tacos. He's like our 4-year-old is obsessed with eating lengua.
Do you know what lengua is?
Kinda.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's obsessed with eating lengua tacos. But for a long time, Dad, I want lengua tacos was code for I need to take a shit and take me to the lengua taco place. And as you might imagine, the lengua taco place, maybe not the most
Pristine
ideal place
bathrooms.
to poop. But yeah, we were pooping there for like a couple months.
Why did he like it so much? Do you know?
Why did he like the tacos? Or
No,
the,
why did he
pooping
like
there?
pooping there?
I think he had a good poop there once.
Oh,
I think it was like a positive poop memory for him.
This all
a PPM.
sounds so, yeah. It sounds so healthy.
I mean, like his bowels or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I just mean our kids are more like picky and finicky with their pooping. So it's kind of more of a whole thing.
Ellis goes, Dad, I have to pee. And the next thing you hear is the front door opens because he's just constantly pissing in our yard. One time we were hiking and he was like, Dad, where do I pee? And I was like, boys can pee anywhere. And I've never regretted saying anything more in my life. I'll show you post-pod. I have 50 pictures on my phone of just looking out our front door and a naked child on our porch peeing.
Can neighbors see and stuff?
There is like a wall that surrounds it, but yeah, like, yes. And he pees on our porch once a day.
How does Ayala feel about this?
Super bummed. Not into it. Super bummed.
he
And it's
pees on
constant-
the porch.
He pees off the porch into
Oh.
our plants. Constantly bummed and just, why did you do that? And we have to stop it. And super bummed.
Will he use a toilet?
Yeah, sure. But his preference is to pee outside.
Tell us, didn't you have a perfect shit on a log?
I did, yeah. Good memory.
It's, how can you
I've thought
forget?
of this story recently.
Yeah, it was in Costa Rica. It was after a long period of. I mean, it's kind of a long story, but I had gone through a very difficult period where I was having a lot of. Remember we talked about this? I had like a thing.
With lobsters?
No, I had like this is not related to that, but I had like a period after like a really intense period of psychedelic drug use where I thought I was like going insane and I had all these problems. It was at the tail end of that. And it was like the moment that I realized I was going to be fine was when I was taking that shit because I had like anxiety-induced diarrhea for like a year. And then I like got to this place where I was camping in the north of Costa Rica and there was a log on the beach with a perfect groove in it. And I got up in the morning and I was watching the surf and I took like, and before I left, when I was having all these intestinal problems, my doctor was like, a perfect poop looks like a giant Hershey's Kiss.
And you never ate a Hershey's Kiss again.
And I
It looks like the emoji.
sat there watching the ocean by myself, and and this perfect poop came out of me, and I turned around and I looked at it, and it was a Hershey's Kiss. And I was like, I'm better. That's it. And I was better. There was like a turning point moment in my life. Yeah, it's
Beautiful.
great. Yeah, I wish I had a photograph of it.
And then what did you do with the perfect poop? Just leave it there?
Left it.
Yeah, I just left it there. I was in the middle of nowhere. What do you mean? Like, did I bury it, you mean?
Yeah. Or I don't know what the options are for when one takes a perfect
Feed it to the
poop and
fish.
poke.
I don't
Costa
remember.
Rica.
I might have like thrown some sand on. I don't remember. But it was like, I remember.
Did you get on all fours and then shovel the sand at it like a dog would?
I don't think I did that, no. But I remember being very happy. It's like I have a picture of like 10 minutes after that, and I look profoundly happy.
And then your poop was
I was like
normal
kind
from
of
then on.
totally fine.
Wow.
It was at the beginning of like a 13-month trip. I was gone for a
Brain
really
gut
long time.
connection here.
Yeah, and it fixed me.
Nice.
But I do see a connection between that story and Ellis. Don't you?
In terms of we both like to use the bathroom outside.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of what we're talking
yeah. I mean, yes, probably. He's really into nature, and I guess I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coded in your
Beautiful.
DNA.
It's
Beautiful.
nature's way.
What are we looking at?
I was going to show you, see how long it takes me to find a picture of Ellis pooping or peeing off our porch. Oh, here, look. Looks like that.
That's
Oh
pretty
my
cute.
God. That is so cute.
I have like 200 of
Wait,
them.
let me see it again. Oh my God, that is so cute. That's too cute. He's like a little statue.
Yeah, but it stinks out there. It's a bummer. I wish I was-
Tony, you said you had one.
Oh boy, and is this exciting?
Okay.
Gummy bears, a tasty treat.
Yes,
All
yes,
of us.
please.
I like a gummy bear, but that's it. Any other gummy thing
Oh.
grosses me out, especially those huge, like those really huge gummy bears. Those gross the
What
fuck
are
out of
huge
me.
gummy bears? I've never
Have you never
them.
seen like
No.
go into like one of those like weird
Yeah.
How
candy
big are we
stores
talking
like
about?
Novelty gummies.
yeah,
It's like the size of a whole chicken.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So not like one of those cinnamon bears or something.
No, I'm talking
Okay.
like it's
Like a water bottle
as tall
size.
as a water bottle,
Like the
if
size
not
of Greg's
bigger.
healthy shit.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I have a similar one. And when I was like, oh, I have a Just Mirror Everyone. So
So we
but
didn't talk about Tony's yet.
but I am talking about Tony's.
Okay.
I know it seems like I'm talking about mine.
Okay.
I can do gummy bears. I cannot do gummy worms.
Yeah.
Because
I think I could when I was younger, but I don't know. For some, it's not
Sorry,
even
I
that
won't
they-
be eating a worm.
Yeah, it's not even that I'm like, oh, it's a worm. Like it doesn't. My brain doesn't like think
Yeah.
it's a worm or something. It just, I don't know. Some reason I can handle the little gummy bear, but anything else.
There's
Now
grosses
you're
me
saying
out.
you don't like Coke bottles or Swedish fish.
I could handle those, I suppose, because they're still on the smaller side.
Right.
So
I think
it's
it's
the
when they're
side.
bigger.
What about
for
the
some
gummy
reason,
cherries? If you had or like little gummy berries.
The fuck is a gummy berry? Is that like a small bear?
They're they look like a little raspberry, and they have these tiny little balls
Yeah,
all over them.
I could
They're
handle
pretty
that.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, those things are gross.
They're
don't like
good.
those
I like
things.
them.
Yeah, I don't like those.
I like them. And they also have like it looks like two cherries, sort of like. Do you get cherries in Pac-Man? It looks like a video game cherry. Those are pretty good too, and they're by Haribo also.
I don't think I've had those.
Yeah. So
Thank you for telling us the manufacturer. I appreciate that.
That's who makes gummy
They're not
bears.
from the Just Born family.
They're also not from Willy Wonka. Anyway,
by the way, I
don't
just
know if
looked
it's
this
just
up.
you.
Swedish fish candies are indeed Swedish in origin.
And what
that?
flavor are
They're
they? Because
like,
they're not what you think.
no, it's like it's a berry that we don't usually have.
I think it's
here.
lingonberry,
Yeah, lingonberry. Maybe.
which I think is what the IKEA Swedish meatball sauce is.
The fish shape was chosen to reflect Sweden's strong fishing industry.
Great.
We all
Can't
know
get away.
kids are looking for their candies to reflect a fishing industry.
Yes,
So
I
weird.
want to know it's like, was this a cash crop? Was this, all the stuff I learned in world cultures, which is not very much now that I think about it. A lot of coffee, spices.
But I will just
bouillon.
say, I think big gummy bears are gross because there's something about the way they retain saliva on the edge of
Yeah.
them. Is that
Yeah.
maybe what you?
Maybe
There's
I never
something
thought of
gross-
it that way, but
like
yeah,
a half-eaten gummy is really disgusting.
Yeah.
It's really disgusting.
yeah. It's like a gummy thing. It's like you want to eat it and you're done with it. Not like I'm gonna have some of this right
Yeah.
now.
Back for this later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Visit it.
Sit
Yeah,
around.
it's really gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's everyone. It's not just you.
Thank you.
But for me, it's just the worms.
Okay, but you hadn't even seen one of these big
No,
ones.
I don't think I would want one,
Yeah,
though.
You don't want one.
I only have recently realized that I like gummy bears. For the longest time, I felt like they all kind of taste the same, and I don't even know what they taste like, and I don't really like them. But just recently, and also I feel like oftentimes they're very hard.
Yeah,
But
I still-
recently,
They can be hit or miss. Yeah.
we've at Aldi, they have decently soft gummy bears. So
I always
then,
hated gummy bears growing up. I never understood why they were so popular.
I feel that way about Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, not a fan of that.
Yeah, not a
either.
fan. Although watermelon Jolly Ranchers are pretty good.
Can't do watermelon.
All the cool girls would get the Jolly Rancher sticks.
Yeah.
You remember those?
Yeah, sure.
You can kind of make a shank out of one of those. They get very sharp. Well, speaking of candy and stuff, we have a snack chat.
Snack chat.
Ooh.
Jeff, tell us what we're looking at.
So I took vacation this summer on Victoria Island in Canada, British Columbia, and one of Big Louie, my cat, his Instagram pen pals is from Canada and recommended these candies, and they said there was a bunch of great Canadian candies that you can't get elsewhere. And so I bought a big variety pack of them and
Ooh, how
wrapped them up
exciting.
in a Tim Hortons bag, which is where I eat breakfast every day.
So we've got Caramilk. We've got
Caramilk's a big deal up there.
Wonder Bar.
I know
Crispy
I've had some of these. I
Crunch.
don't remember which ones
These
I've had
are just
though.
like Canadian variety. Like this isn't just a Butterfinger that's called something different.
I'm not
Mr. Big.
sure how
Mr.
different they
Big.
are from other American candies, but
I think their chocolate is different though, and it's really good. I
yeah,
think.
that's the thing is like their chocolate is very European and milky. It's not kind of
Right.
waxy.
Mr. Big just makes me think of the band. Which one should we try first? What are you going in on? Caramilk?
Was good.
It looks like
What do you want, Tones?
like a
you can tell.
Yeah, she
caramello.
gave me a-
That's what it is. It's a caramello, but it's good.
I'm gonna
like a
try
better caramel.
the Wunderbar.
At Tim Hortons, they have a donut that has caramilk around the outside of it and then also kind of wrapped in the middle of it somehow.
Did you have a Nanaimo bar?
No, I didn't. But I went to Nanaimo and they were. This is where Nanaimo bars come from, and I didn't quite. know
Where
it
is
was.
Nanaimo?
It's up island from Victoria, up the eastern coast of the island, about an hour and a half.
I remember saying that I didn't know what a Nanaimo bar was
Some
to
ice
someone,
cream bar or something. I don't
and
know.
they were like shocked that I didn't know.
I don't know what it is.
I knew it was a thing, but I don't know specifically what it was.
I think it's
I don't know what it is.
It's very
I've eaten them
rich.
before,
it's like layers of. Maybe look it up.
but I think it's brownie shaped.
Oh, that sounds right.
I could be wrong.
The Wunderbar tastes like something that I've had before. It's peanutty.
Mr. Big
And what's in that one? Is it like a Snickers?
chocolate caramel
Nougat.
rice and maybe nougat in the middle.
Nougat.
Did you say rice?
You know, like the
Oh, so it's like a $100,000 grand bar.
$100,000.
Is that what's it called?
$100,000 bar. $100,000 bar. Shit, I
Isn't
don't
there a
know.
grand in there somewhere?
I think it used to be called $100,000 bar, and then they changed it to $100,000.
Oh, well,
Inflation.
I
Yeah,
use the
exactly.
full name. All right, I'm trying the
When
Mr.
we went
Big.
metric, they changed it. Which one do you have there, Allison?
This is Mr. Big.
I'll do the
It's
same.
good. Yeah. I think I
Very crinkly wrappers.
prefer this to the Wonder Bar. The Wonder Bar is very peanutty. Did you try the Wonder Bar?
Yes,
What do you think?
I liked it. I liked them all.
These are all good. They all taste good. Every one
Now,
of these is
Crispy
good.
Crunch looks like
So that's like a Butterfinger, the crispy crunch.
that's what I was going to say. Okay, Butterfinger. I might have to finish
Right?
this Mr. Big.
Yeah.
The irony of Mr. Big being so small.
Yeah, it's kind of a small bar.
Yeah, whatever the crunch is. Yes, please.
But Mr. Big, you think largely tastes like a Butterfinger?
No, Daniel thought the crispy crunch
Oh, the
tastes like a
crispy crunch.
Butterfinger.
I'd like to compare the crispy crunch to the modern Butterfinger. 'Cause I feel like the modern Butterfinger has changed,
It has.
and it's not as good.
Mr. Big almost has like a coffee flavor.
They changed Butterfingers?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
There's
and
probably something in it that was like really awful for you and they figured it out later.
Made out of, like-
Man, I like Butterfingers.
Aluminum or something.
Are they your favorite? What's your favorite? Of
Candy?
the candies, yeah.
Wait, what's that thing called? There's one candy bar that I'm crunchy bars. That's the thing I'm crazy about.
What's a crunchy bar?
I think they're British. In America, we call them violet crumbles.
Oh, is it honeycomb?
It's honeycomb. It's chocolate covered honeycomb. I love those things.
I have a
love those
question.
things.
I always thought it was real honeycomb. Is it? It's not, right?
I don't know.
I think it's a confection made. I think honeycomb, in this sense, I don't know why I sound like a person who's like just got to Earth, and I sound like an alien for some reason. I don't think it's actual honeycomb like from bees. I think that's a word for that texture. Tony, will you look up?
I'm pretty sure you're
But
right
I have
on that.
had chocolate covered real honeycomb before, and it's so good.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it waxy?
No, it's delicious. Honeycomb is. Have you ever eaten it? It's so delicious. It's so incredibly good. Tony, is it real?
I'm trying to find out that.
I would Google, is honeycomb candy real honeycomb?
That's what I was trying.
Stand by.
So what's your favorite for the Canadian candies? Allison?
I'm going Mr. Big.
Mr. Big. You're going
Yeah.
big with Mr. Big.
I'm go Mr. Big or go home. Daniel?
No, the
Go,
center of a crunchy bar is a type of toffee known as sponge toffee or honeycomb toffee. Yeah, it's fake. It's fake.
This my whole life I thought it was actual honeycomb, and then it just occurred to me it doesn't make sense. Daniel, what's your
I
favorite?
don't know. Probably either Mr. Big or the Crunch.
Crispy Crunch?
Crispy Crunch is very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Where if your eyes were closed, would you think it's Butterfinger?
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite, Jeff?
I like caramel, but I'm going to go for this stray Mr. Big here and
Yeah.
do a second lap. I ate a bunch of this a long time ago.
Thank you so much for bringing these.
My pleasure.
Tone Zone, your favorite?
I think I'm going caramel.
All
I
right.
like that one the best.
So is
Wow.
like these are all made by Cadbury. Is Cadbury just a bigger brand in Canada than like Nestle or M&M Mars or whatever?
I think so. I think I could be wrong, but Cadbury could be a British company.
Cadbury is British.
Right.
Yeah. So Australia, Canada, New Zealand, it's all those places are all Cadbury.
Yeah.
Cadbury dominant.
So, yeah.
Can we talk about a weird word for a second?
Yeah, please.
Nuptials. But it's spelled nuptials. And I don't even know the correct way. I don't know why this word was on my mind.
Wait,
Every
did-
time
Did you talk about this on the show already?
I don't
I
think
was
so.
listening to something that had this exact conversation recently.
It's in
My
the
thoughts?
ether.
Weird. Sorry.
it's in the
Continue.
zeitgeist. That's so strange.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think I have, but it would be in keeping with me that I have.
You know what? I think it was Never Not Funny. I think it was on Never Not Funny.
Let them know I didn't know when I get arrested for this.
Yeah.
It's spelled nuptials, but do we pronounce it nuptials? Why?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's nuptials, TIALS.
Uh-huh. N-U-P-T-I-A-L-S.
Although if you think about the pronunciation,
Nuptials.
nuptials.
Say it nuptial.
necessarily what?
Nuptial.
Nuptial.
Yeah, it's that upside down
nobody said
E is the
Schwa.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a schwa in there?
Schwa.
Nuptial.
Schwa.
Schwa.
Schwa is a worse word than
Oh, I
nuptials.
love
worse?
saying schwa.
Chev or schwa?
Schwa.
Schwa.
Does
Schwa.
Chev have a schwa? in it?
Oh God. Nuptial. Is there anything else that's I-A-L that we pronounce with a schwa? I guess a lot. There is a lot of stuff. I
But I
guess
feel like people say
commercial.
nuptial. Nuptials, yeah.
Right. That's the difference. They don't say nuptial. They say nuptial.
Nuptial.
Well, that was
stuff.
a satisfying
I'm glad we sorted that
conversation.
out.
I would like to say hello and welcome to the new patrons.
Allison wants to say thank you to a couple of special people out there. Sign up to be new patrons. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen.
Hello and welcome.
Tony, is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, playing it?
No, that song. That song is also pretty.
Oh.
Do that sound, but like over and over, like repeatedly, like quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the goats.
Yeah.
I would like to say hello and welcome to Anna Q. I feel like it's Anna Q. Is it? To CO and to Reagan Olson. Hello. Welcome. Enjoy your access. Guys, if you enjoy the show or if you ever have, now is the time to step up and support directly because by now I would have segued this way, that way, ads aplenty, but instead you're getting an ad-free experience. People pay through the nose for that. So please pay by Patreon for that. Patreon.com/Allison Rosen. Also, my Substack. It's taken off. Allison Rose. I mean, just recently, I've been writing about my experience on the Corolla show because people want to hear about it. And I went back and I reconsidered all the people that I had heard called cunts before. Like, were they really cunts? Was it just that workplace?
Cunts you've known and loved.
It was a reconsideration of cunts, but I like where you're going with that. AllisonRosen.substack.com. Okay, let's do Podcast Pals product picks.
Podcast Pals product picks.
I'll go first. There is a zit that has overtaken my face. It's been going on for days. I have finally found my niche on.
Where is it?
It has makeup over it right now,
Okay.
but it's like right here. Do you
It's on
see
your
it?
nose?
Yeah, it's like right here.
And this is your product pick?
Yeah, I have something for it. I have done like 9 to 12 TikToks about it. The most recent one has me talking to TikTok in the background. You hear Daniel go, "Oh my God, no one cares." They don't care about this. But I'm telling you, I found my niche.
Yeah.
Roughly
Is it
2 to
taking off on
300
TikTok?
2 to 300 people watch each one and they have comments.
Wow.
They said they want more of you. Because we also captured Do Your Onion song.
I actually don't even remember it.
It goes, get fucked, get fucked, get fucked, get fucked. This onion can get fucked. He was
Yeah.
cooking.
I was cooking, and then she asked me why, and I said it's because instead of saying it's because it made my eyes water, I said it made my
making
ears
my-
water, and I've been thinking about that nonstop.
No one has pointed that out.
Well, that's generous of them because that was a weird thing to say.
It was
But
strange.
my brain has been doing that a lot lately, and I'm wondering if I'm losing
It's
it.
your quercetin.
It's like I will go for one word and say another word, and often don't even know I said the other word at all.
It's
And it'll
probably
be pointed out
fatigue
to
or
me later.
distraction or dementia. So anyway,
Yeah.
big zit on my face, ruining my life. It hurts. I finally succumbed to pimple patches. Do you guys know about these? Do men know about pimple patches? They're tiny, circular, like imagine a reinforcement from when we were children. If the center, not the ring, but the center, or a tiny bit bigger, and it's called hydrocolloid. It's like this
I have
material.
a question.
Yeah.
What's a reinforcement?
Those white circles that they almost look like a white paper lifesaver, and you would put them around
Oh.
the hole in like a
the
three-ring
three-ring
binder.
binder.
yeah.
Oh.
No one ever used them, except I feel like
We
some
had them.
secretaries
Yeah,
did.
like you always
They were-
had them,
yes,
but you
did.
never knew what
They
the
were-
application
You store them
was
next
for
to the whiteout.
But you can't just casually drop. I think it's not like a ubiquitous term.
It's a good point. No one knows.
You wouldn't. You
Was never not funny talking about reinforcements recently, perchance?
Yeah. Like maybe it's Staples that shit would fly, but like you can't just like walk into a party and be like, "Hey, do you have any reinforcements here?" Or whatever. People are gonna have no idea.
No, they're
what
going to
that-
give you like beer.
right. Exactly.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I just want to point out I didn't know what that was. I nodded. We all did. We were like, "Oh yeah, reinforcement," but nobody knew what you were
I
talking
thought
about.
Jeff actually did know.
I thought at first that for some reason, because I was picturing those circular little tiny Band-Aids.
Oh,
I was picturing
that's
that.
a better thing.
And then I thought that's what you meant reinforcements were, and I nodded.
She calls
and, then
Band-Aids
as you,
reinforcements.
and then as you were talking,
Yes.
I actually did the math and said, "Oh, it's those little paper glues."
Oh,
So
you
you
got there.
knew,
You
yeah.
got there.
I got there. It was a long road to get to the rib
Jeff
point, but I got
is
there.
smart enough for this
I
show.
did not
I
get
am not.
there. Okay, sorry, Allison.
Nope,
Back to your
no.
nose. Yeah.
Anyway, pimple patches. Ladies love them. They're like the hot new pimple treatment. Just go, girl. But I have not. I luckily don't have a lot of acne anymore. So I just have my handy Clearasil and salicylic acid, just like various ointments and salves and things like that to coat. So anyway, it's a tiny little flimsy patch. And it's supposed to like make the pimple go away, and it like reduces redness, and it soaks up all the gunk if there's gunk. So I do think, I don't have it on now. I do think it helped a lot though, because I had it on yesterday and overnight, and also it kind of just conceals it and you don't really see it that well. So everyone's like, get the Mighty Patch, but those are expensive. So I got something just called Pimple Patch on Amazon. It's like $300 for less than $10. So I recommend the Pimple Patch.
Gosh, that's a great suggestion.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's still
Are you
there
on-
though.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it because
But
the
not-
light hits it so that it's got because it's got structure. So the light hits it at a real pinpoint, as opposed to the rest of your nose, which has more of a, a flatter reflectivity.
For the record, I can't see it.
Thank you.
And I'm sitting across from your nose.
Daniel, well, I'm here too. Daniel, I have been pointing out to Daniel nonstop for the past 3 days. So he's like very
I've been
intimate.
dreaming about noses for days now.
Okay. What is your product pick, Greg?
Oh, my product pick are Jane domestic oven mitts.
Go on.
Now, I think Jeff and I are on one of the things Jeff and I are on the same page about is we would rather spend more money on something that will last for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And in many, many years of cooking, I've gone through many oven mitts. They burn, they get disgusting, they get stained, they're ugly, they
fall apart.
They fall apart, they don't protect your hands enough. And also, I don't want to get like giant, silly barbecue, those giant grill ones. They're
you can't
unnecessary.
even be
They're
nimble with
cumbersome.
those.
Jane Domestic is a small company. I think maybe she's in the Pacific Northwest, and she sells custom suede oven mitts. And they're naturally heat resistant to like 500 degrees.
Wow.
And they're beautiful. And you have to get used to using them because they're square. You put your hand into them, but they have 2 layers. So if you're picking up something that's kind of hot, you can use the thin layer, or you can put your hand, you can flip it over and use both layers.
Oh, wow.
And they're like display pieces. And I feel like I'm going to have them for the rest of my life. You could hang them in your kitchen and they're like a discussion piece.
Nice.
When you say like display pieces, where do you keep them?
Hanging in my kitchen like a display piece.
Now, when you say discussion piece, are these interesting people that you're having this discussion with?
I mean, they're like other people who cook who come into your kitchen and are like, let's talk about your pans.
Sure.
And then you go, did you see my Jane domestic
So
oven
no.
mitts? What? Yes.
Sorry.
But you could like, a problem with oven mitts, Tony, please hold on to that one. A problem with oven mitts is that
I was like, what drop is he queuing?
if you leave them too close to a burner, they will all char.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You know, go ahead.
Jane Domestic will not do that. I'm not employed by this company. I don't know any of these people. I guarantee they would fucking hate me if they listen to the show and they'd be like the Hezbollah guy or whatever is suggesting us.
Why do you think they're pro Hezbollah or do you think they're anti?
They probably are just like, don't make jokes about that shit.
Okay.
They're probably that, which I think is probably
They're not weighing into the matter.
Yeah,
They don't get political.
probably
Jane
did-
Domestic doesn't get. I don't feel like you were making a joke about it. I think
Okay.
you were talking about a quick reaction you had, which is what Just Mere Everyone is
Right.
for.
But I bet
It's-
Jane Domestic did not have
So
that reaction.
Jane Domestic, by not saying anything, is tacitly supporting terror, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah.
So-
You
well,
get the terrorist oven mitts.
I am not associated with the terrorists at Jane Domestic, but they do make very
Had a
beautiful.
pager been inside one of them?
I don't think they weren't inside the
fine.
people.
No, inside an oven mitt.
Oh. Okay.
I'm just asking how strong they are.
Oh, I know. I haven't tested that. But anyway, here's the other thing I want to say about them. They're expensive.
How expensive are we talking?
Each oven mitt is $28.
Wait, that's.
Oh, I was
So a set of them
I was
is
expecting
about
it to be like
$60.
$100.
No, but this is way more than most oven mitts are.
Right.
But they're worth it.
Thank you.
That's my suggestion.
Do they happen to sell them on Amazon?
They do sell them on Amazon.
Oh my
yes,
gosh,
they do, and
that's
they have a bunch
surprising to
of
me.
different colors.
And
And you can buy them through the website.
what color do you have?
Blue.
If in case they want to get the heller.
Oh, no, that would get me talking about it. Blue. You didn't say that.
My oven mitt issue is I find, and tell me if this is across the board for these non-Jane oven mitts, if they get wet, then you burn. Like
Yeah.
they're no longer heat resistant if they're wet.
These are like thick slabs of suede. You could stick them in a fire
Like-
and nothing would happen to your hand.
Like picking up a pan with a cow.
Right, like if you had a
Yes.
cow,
Yeah.
if you stuck your hand
Inside
in a
the
cow's
cow.
ass and
Yeah.
then you tried to pick up a pan with
That's
that cow.
not how I would see. I don't think it's necessary to go in up the ass.
Well, you don't go through the mouth.
Yeah, because they bite
Yeah,
you.
You get bit.
there's only 2 routes of entry, as far as I know, in a cow. I don't know
guess
that much
you're right.
about cows.
Yeah, no, you're right. Well,
I think it's ass or mouth is the only 2 ways to get inside of a cow.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know the old saying, ass or mouth, the
Yeah.
only way inside a cow. You
Right.
gotta go one or the other.
it's like the opposite of like there's what is the skin a cat one, which is upsetting when you think
There's
about it.
only one way to skin a cat.
there's more than one
to
way.
skin a cat.
What
yeah.
about you can't swing a dead cat without hitting something?
Right.
What's
Who's
with the
skinning
dead
and swinging
cat
dead
business?
cats?
Jesus.
But that's a saying, right?
Yes, it is.
Why does a cat have to be dead?
I know. You could
For you to
swing
swing
a
it?
living cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why couldn't it just be you can't swing a cat?
Right. Because they wanted to make it worse.
Is that worse or better?
So you can't swing a dead cat without hitting.
Was there
like
a time when
cheap
people would
oven
swing
mitt
dead cats around?
in order
To see what they could hit.
See what you could hit?
How clean is this room? Honey, get us the
Get us a dead cat.
Get us dead
How
Mr.
could I know?
Mittens.
You know, it's a nice house. It doesn't pass the dead cat test. I don't know.
Yeah.
We hid a bunch of stuff in here with the cat.
Yeah, it's so weird. The origin of that phrase. Can't swing a ick. Okay, Jeff. Great one.
Thanks, Allison.
My pick is a book. I actually have two books, if I may.
You may.
One's a picture book, and the other one is a reading book. One is by, I think Greg would like this book. It's by Marcus Palladino. It's called Cold Comfort Surf Photography from Canada's West Coast.
Oh,
So it's a
about
lot of
this.
cold water surfing photography. And that's an interesting thing in of itself. But Greg, you've probably seen a ton of surf photography.
this was probably many of these pictures were taken around Tofino.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
Yeah, that's where he lives now.
Yeah.
But Greg, take a quick look at these pictures. I mean, this guy does.
I know who this guy is.
Yeah.
He takes pictures of the Brewweilers.
Yeah,
yes.
he does. There's just something really extra beautiful about the
very
work
beautiful.
that this guy does. And a lot of surf photography is kind of the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like in the tube. But this is a lot of like landscape and just kind of the natural beauty of it. And the other book is Make It Stop by Jim Ruland. It is a fiction story based in Los Angeles about kind of a dystopian near future where there's a new model that's made for people that are going into recovery programs where you don't get let out of recovery until you've paid your bill.
Oh.
And so it's this sort of self-fulfilling cycle of keeping people in these recovery programs.
Interesting.
And Jim Ruland is a great author. He's actually a good buddy of mine, and he wrote the biography of Keith Morris from The Circle Jerks and Black Flag. That's another good book.
Oh, interesting.
Called Make It Stop.
I'll read that book.
I thought of Keith Morrison from like Dateline or Nightline or whatever he is.
Who is
That's the same person, isn't it?
Keith Morrison?
He was
No.
in the Circle
think
Jerks?
he was.
Keith
Matthew
Morrison's
Perry's
stepson.
stepfather.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I knew there was
Oh.
something like that. Well, I'm sorry for his loss.
Yeah.
Great books. Great Mitt.
Sounds interesting. It's like Synanon.
Yeah.
Does it like reference that in any way? Is it kind of that abusive sort of?
Yeah, but there's a lot more to
Okay.
it than that. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Near dystopian future.
Is it like wry? Is it a satire or is it just dark?
It's
darkly
I would
wry.
call it almost like a modern noir crime thing. It has very much of the personality of Los Angeles in it,
I like
in the way
that.
that Raymond Chandler did. So
Sounds
Oh,
good.
I love Raymond Chandler.
yeah,
We'll
he's
read.
great.
You guys, this has been delightful. We need to have more reunions. Please don't be strangers, both of you. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Daniel,
I agree.
you did okay.
That's fine.
Tony, passable. Just kidding. All right. Jeff, where might we find you?
I'm looking to see what fake plugs I have.
Greg, where might we find you?
I'm on Instagram at Dong Attack. If you like videos where like animals, like videos of animals with like death metal underneath them, that's kind of been the thing I've been doing recently. You can see that there. And I am starting a Substack.
Oh, yeah. I want
Until
to know
such
if
time
you-
as I get employed, I will be doing that.
What's it going to be about?
It's just going to be storytelling, and I'll probably interview some musicians and stuff.
Are you going to do tags?
Don't know yet. Haven't been able to figure it out. But I am going to start by telling the Gene Simmons story in full, which is a really interesting story about a piece of shit. But that will probably.
Do you feel
not
he
be-
is a piece of shit?
He's a piece of shit.
I've heard this.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit.
Even people that love Kiss say that.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit. He's a bad guy. But you know that story.
I'm sure I do.
Yeah. It's the time Gene Simmons told my mother that he had sex with her.
Wait, no, I don't know this
Yeah.
story.
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
Can't wait to read it.
It will be on the Substack. But it's going to take me probably
This
6
does ring
more
a bell
weeks.
now.
Yeah, I did you, babe. You don't remember this?
You don't remember this, what he said to your mom?
No. Yeah, he did say that.
That's so
anyway,
weird.
but it's probably going to take me another 6 weeks or a couple months to get enough stories up there to do it.
I interviewed Gene Simmons once, Random Notes, Rolling Stone, And he just started going off on me about how like they had been on the cover of TV Guide, but they'd never been on the cover of Rolling Stone. Had they never been on the cover of Rolling
Yeah,
Stone?
because Jan Wenner hated Kiss. That
Okay.
was a famous thing. It was one of the things he was right about.
I think and so Gene Simmons like must have known about it and decided to let me know about it. And I'm like, I couldn't be more removed from Jan Wenner if you swung a dead cat.
Right.
From Jan Wenner, you'd never hit me. I'm just a person in California who's been hired to be a stringer here.
He was hoping it would get to him.
I don't think it did. I don't think it did.
Unless he's a
Take that,
listener.
Jan Wenner.
Yeah.
Maybe now, finally.
Finally. Jeff, what about you?
So I have a new sideline business that's going along with my podcast production business where I'm a bum doula. So I'm teaching people how to be a bum and just kind of screw around and not get anything done. So if you want to book an appointment, you can go to bum-doula.biz, .net and .com. We're already taken. And I'm on Instagram at hobodoulaguy43.
I love it. And
Great time to be in that business in this town. We had a great time.
I feel like it's I'm in on the ground floor of a burgeoning industry. I feel like
This reminds me of my idea for the hobo Uber for hobos.
What was it?
It's like hobo butler, and then
yeah.
you can like get a butler from. And the way you do it is you put a pie on the windowsill, and they know what. And Allison
all
didn't get
coming back.
She didn't get the pie on the windowsill.
No,
joke.
because we went through this this was many episodes, but
This is years ago,
you put a pie out and then like animals steal it, not hobos. In my
guys. If
In
someone puts a pie out,
in the cartoon world.
cartoon, yeah. Well, that's what's my world.
Yeah.
that's how you get whatever.
Daniel,
Everyone
what
knows how
about
to get a
you? What about you?
hobo. Just Daniel Quantz at Twitter, X, Insta, Threads. I don't even
Great.
do any of
Tony?
that shit anymore.
Not much. Just the When We Were Young festival in Vegas next month with Motion City Soundtrack. That's October 19th and 20th.
Follow me on TikTok at the Allison Rosen if you want to hear about my zit. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show?